Good morning, it's Pastor Rick Mitchell. I want to talk to you today about a subject entitled, How Well Does God Know Me? In Psalm 139, the Bible reads, For the chief musician, the Psalm of David, O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You hem me in, behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain it. Rhonda and I will be married for 47 years this June the 30th. And you think we'd know each other pretty well. Sometimes she'll finish a sentence that I started. Sometimes I'll finish a sentence that she started. But yet, the first 6 verses of this psalm teach that God is omniscient. And omniscient means that God knows everything and does not have to learn anything. Matter of fact, there's nothing that he can learn because he knows everything. Merriam-Webster Dictionary defines omniscient as possessed of universal or complete knowledge. God knows all that there is to be known. As I contemplate this attribute of God, I realize that this means that God knows everything about us, everything about me. My deepest desires, my innermost thoughts and aspirations are all open to him with whom we have to do. And of course, that's a partial quote from this next verse, Hebrews 4:13. Neither is there any creature that is not manifest in his sight, but all things are naked and open unto the eyes of him with whom we have to do. He has searched, literally penetrated us, and known or understood us. And since God is always both omnipresent, as present in all places, and omniscient, knowing all, it obviously follows that nothing escapes his conscious knowledge about us. He observes our ordinary activities, according to verse 2, and our innermost thoughts. Thou compassest my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. I am told that the Hebrew, the Old Testament word translated compasseth, suggests that he sees the formation of the words in our tongues before we begin to speak them. That means that we are transparent to him. We cannot deceive him in any way. He knows what we're going to think even before we think it. We cannot hide anything from him. God knows what only we know about ourselves, and those things we will not even admit to ourselves. Jeremiah 17:9. Jeremiah states, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Then he essentially questions, who can know it? Well, the Bible tells us that God can, and also he does. A philosopher was asked by a monarch about God, and he desired a day for his answer. He then asked for another day in which to give his answer. The more he thought about God, the more he seemed unable rightly to describe him. At last the monarch asked the philosopher why he so often delayed to tell him what he knew about God. And he replied, the more I think about God, the more incomprehensible he seems to be. In all things are open to his view. Verse 1. He searches us through and through. There are inward recesses and remote points that escape our eye, but not one that escapes his penetrating, his far-reaching glance. We may conceal some things from man and elude his keenest search. We can hide nothing from God. He searches and knows all things, even the most secret chambers of the soul. He observes all our ways, verses 2 and 3. From morning till evening, from evening till morning, everything is done before him. He is Lord, before whom we stand. As the old prophets used to say, there is no action of ours that is too slight for his notice. He is the infinite one, and infinity reaches downwards as well as upwards. He is familiar with every uttered word and unuttered thought, verses 2b and 4. It is not difficult to think of our shouted sentences or of our formal addresses being heard and noticed by God. It requires some effort of thought to realize that the casual conversation, the interjected remark, the whispered secret, that these are heard and heeded by him. Yet it becomes us to remember that they are. John Gill writes, the omniscience of God reaches to all persons and things, but the psalmist only takes notice of it as respecting himself. God knows all men in general and whatever belongs to them. He knows his own people in a special manner, and he knows their particular persons as David and others, and this knowledge of God is considered after the manner of men, as if it was the fruit of search to denote the exquisiteness of it. As a judge searches out a cause, a physician the nature of a disease, a philosopher the reason of things, who many times after all their inquiries fail in their knowledge, but the Lord never does. His elect lies in the ruins of the fall and among the men of the world. He searches them out and finds them, for he knows where they are and the time of finding them, and can distinguish them in a crowd of men from others. And notwithstanding the sad case they are in, and separates them from them, and he searches into them and to their most inward part, and knows them infinitely better than their nearest relations, friends, and acquaintances do. He knows that of them and them which none but they themselves know, their thoughts and the sin that dwells in them. Yea, he knows more of them and in them than they themselves. And he knows them after another manner than he does other men. There are some whom in a sense he knows not, but these he knows as he did David, so as to approve of, love, and delight in. Matthew 7:23, we're cautioned, and then will I declare unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you workers of lawlessness. But then our final verse, 2 Timothy 2:19, thank God for this one. But God's firm foundation stands, bearing this seal, the Lord knows who are his, and let every one who names the name of the Lord depart from iniquity. May God bless you in this day and in this week, and may you rejoice in him who knows everything about you. Have a great day.